Hi, I'm Jackie Collins, Director of Operations at Amelia's Light, a nonprofit here in Medfield. I'm joined today by its founder, Michelle Lerman. And we're going to talk about Amelia's Light and our big annual fundraiser, a garden party, June 4th. Amelia's Light is a nonprofit organization. It's a startup, actually. It's 18 months old, and it is tax exempt. The purpose behind Amelia's Light is to help young women rehab through human trafficking. We provide financial support, raise awareness, and help these girls heal. The story, however, behind Amelia's Light is a very inspirational story, and it starts with Michelle. At one point, Michelle and her family were vacationing in their summer home in New Hampshire, and an unfortunate tragic accident happened when there was an explosion and the family lost their little 5-year-old daughter, Amilia. In the healing process afterwards, in memorial for Amilia, people donated money. The family decided at some point that they really wanted to do something with this money. And therefore, this story took a tragedy and brought it to the light and made blessings for other girls. I'd like to introduce to you now the president and founder of Amelia's Light, Michelle Lerman. Michelle, could you please tell us a little bit more about Amilia and what your family did in her memory?
Thank you, Jackie. I'd be happy to. So Amilia was this little 5-year-old child of light. She was described by our pastor at her eulogy as 10,000 watts of light. And she was this little girl who came into a room and lit up a room. And she made an impact, as you said, big impact, little life. After her funeral, we received a number of contributions, and we wanted to give back. So we did a few small things here and there. We bought backpacks for a kindergarten class in Vermont. We provided computer equipment for a special needs child, and there were a number of other little projects that we did along the way. And but we had this idea that perhaps we needed to do something more and eventually start a foundation in Amelia's name. And then in 2010, we were introduced to this program called Destiny Women in Uganda through our pastor, Pastor Phil, at UCC Medfield, and through a program that UCC was doing with World Vision in Uganda. And we were introduced to Felucas and his wife Miriam, who ran a program part-time. They both had full-time positions. They ran this program part-time in rehabilitating young women, rescuing and rehabilitating young women who'd been trafficked. So we were getting to know them, and eventually our family ended up sponsoring 5 girls through their program.
That's an amazing startup story, because Amilia, who was only 5, was so little, yet it seems she has had such an impact on other girls.
I would say yes, thank you. She's been an inspiration for us, and we believe for these young women too.
Mm-hmm. So what led you to start Amelia's Light?
Fast forward a couple years, 2013, it was going to be the 10-year anniversary of her passing. And the community here in Medfield, friends, family, so many people had come out and supported us after Amelia's death and after the explosion, that we just really wanted to give back to the community a little bit. And at the same time, I kept hearing this message. I kept hearing, you need to honor this child of light. And so had some friends get together with me, and we planned this sort of celebration memoriam that was going to take place in May for the 10-year anniversary. And so then the question became, who were we going to raise money for at this at this party. And so at the same time, I was attending my first mission trip with UCC to Uganda, and a World Vision trip, and a group of us from UCC were going, and Charlie Peck, who you know, is who's a board member now. Charlie was attending the mission trip, and I asked him if he would stay along with me a few days, and if he would help me to evaluate the Destiny Women program to see if this was going to be something that we could support. And we did. We stayed a few extra days. We met the Destiny Women board. We met the 5 Amilia girls in person, because I'd only Skyped with Felucas and Miriam prior to that. And I got to meet about 15 or 20 of the other young women that they've brought, of the 50 that they've brought off the streets, and that has been through their program. And so we were very, very impressed with their program, that their can-do attitude, their dedication to trying to eradicate trafficking and make a difference in the lives of these young women, and the just amazing way that they could do so much with so little. And so we came back, and about a couple weeks later, we had this gathering, and we raised $10,138. Wow. And amazing. So Amelia's Light was born. Then that summer, we applied for our 501c3, and that turned out to be quite a process. We didn't hear back until fall, September of 2014. And we received our tax-exempt status at that point in time. And that's when I think I made a phone call to you.
Right. So Amelia's Light was officially on the map, born, if you will. And I understand the phone call. I remember one day receiving a call from you. And Charlie was in the car, and you invited me for a lovely lunch.
That's
and I
correct.
said, I was busy. And then you said, okay, you're on speakerphone. And you said, I have a question for you. I'm not sure this is the correct time.
That's right.
But would you please consider being on the working board of Amelia's Light? And before I could say anything, Charlie Peck said, and you can't say no. So thus born my involvement, and it's been a heck of a ride with you and Charlie and Jody Holman.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we pretty much said the same thing to Jody.
Really? Can you tell us how Amelia's Light is supporting Destiny Women?
I'd be happy to. So in the money that we've raised so far, we primarily support many of the girls themselves as they're coming through transition. So we've supplied education, tuition for some of the girls. We've provided financial support in terms of medical expenses. A couple of the girls had some health issues, just need for antibiotic. One of the girls had to have a surgery, Teddy, had to have foot surgery. She had an infection in her foot, and she actually had to have 2 surgeries. And so we've done that. Some basic living expenses after they've been through the program to keep them going as they're looking for work. And then we also do another program that we help support, the Destiny Women program, where we hold trunk shows, which you know very well because you're a big part of that. Yes, your lovely beads that you're wearing. We do trunk shows, and we sell the paper beaded jewelry that's handmade, as you know, by the girls themselves. Right,
and it's very easy to wear, and you can layer them, and they're beautiful pieces, actually.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of success. We've raised well over $5,000 just in I want to say 4, maybe 5 or 6 shows. So it's done very well, and that's something we want to continue to do moving forward.
You know, I'm always touched when I hear you tell stories about what goes on in Uganda, because it always seems to me that so little, small amounts of money go long way over there. And also how appreciative these folks are to receive this, because oftentimes there is no extra medical, there is no extra school fees and school clothes, etc. So I feel like selling the jewelry and providing that money, which I have had a part of, has been very significant to me, so that we can keep this going. Can you tell us a little bit about it, Anita?
Oh yeah, Anita. So
I see she puts a smile on your face.
She does put a smile on my face. She's one of the first 5 girls that our family sponsored. So I naturally have a heart for that, and I have a heart for all of these young women.
I've noticed.
And but Anita is she's just got chutzpah. She's and I think that's how you pronounce it. She's amazing. She has been through the program, and she wants to make a difference in the lives of her own life, her children, her family, and for other girls. And so she couldn't find work, and so she decided, she had a friend teach her how to do hairstyling. And so she learned how to style women's hair, and that's very big. It's very many businesses in Uganda revolve around women's hair. And so she learned how to do it, and then she applied for a job as an instructor in a hair salon school.
Do you know there is an expression that said, teach what you need to learn?
Yeah, I've heard
That's
that. I never
perfect.
know exactly
Yeah.
how to say that, but yeah. And she is a perfect example of that. So she got this job, and then and afterwards we got her started with a little bit of startup money, and she started working. And then when I went out again this past year, my second trip out, I met with her, and she knew I was coming, and we had asked her to prepare what she needed to do to move past where she was at, because she was in a salon and in a home that with a leaky roof, and the salon was in a very questionable district. It also had 4 other hair salons, right in the, and when I say salons, these are small kiosks. These are not.
Michelle, tell everybody what they're really called in Uganda.
They're called saloons, and so it makes my
The
blogging,
graphics,
it makes our internet interesting when we're talking about, we're empowering young women, and we're getting them started in saloons.
Saloons, I know.
But she's done very well. So at any rate, after she and I met, you mentioned something about it doesn't take a lot of money to get started with a program there. The money goes a long way. And so we ended up providing her with, and she and I sat down, she had her figures on a piece of paper. I had brought her a ledger, and we worked out a business plan, and $650 got her started in startup supplies. So we paid for her to attend a business workshop, a 6-month course. She attended that, and she's graduated that program, and we gave her the $650. I think we actually gave her a little more. We moved her to a better spot in town, a safer spot in town, and she's launched, and she's providing for herself, her 2 children, and her mom.
It's a remarkable story, and being a member of Amelia's Light, it just thrills me to hear about that success, because it makes us understand that what we do does really help. And I imagine that we want to do more Anita stories. So can you tell everybody what Amelia's Light is doing now to empower these women?
Yeah, I would be really happy to. It's something I'm particularly proud of, and I know our whole organization is very proud of this program. So Anita was really a pilot for us to see how this would work. We wanted to get started with something small, get some experience behind it, and use it as a little bit of a proving ground. And now we're embarking on the next phase of that. And so the money that we raised last year has been moved toward in social enterprise with Destiny Women. We're partnered with Destiny Women, and we're calling it an empowerment program, but essentially it's a social enterprise. It'll be a small shop. And our first venture will be one storefront with a hair salon on one side and a small boutique on the other side. And it will essentially be an incubator program. And
can I ask you
the name?
The name of this venture,
Yes.
this center?
Yes, and so the girls chose, and we actually had a contest, and we had great entries. And one of the and they had originally chose Shining Light, which was one of the entries, and it got rejected because there was another Shining Light Center. So they came back and they wanted to do something with similar to that. And they had heard the story, they read the blog, they knew the story about Amilia, and so they chose the name 10,000 Lights Women's Business Center.
Because, remind us what the 10,000 was?
Yes, because Phil called Amilia 10,000 watts of light at her eulogy.
I know. Very pointed. I think also, Michelle, that one of the reasons that things are making progress over there with Destiny Women is because we're in collaboration with an organization there, and we also have a liaison there.
Right.
And so it's very, worked out together.
Right.
And we actually take the lead from what their needs are.
Right.
Which, is a good thing.
Right.
So now that we have this 10,000 Lights Women's Business Center, what's the goal of this venture, would you say?
Well, the goal of the venture is there are several goals. One, it's to provide the safe haven for a place for these girls to work and a place for them to be after they've finished the rehabilitation program that Destiny Women runs. So it's a stepping off point from the rehabilitation program before they go back into the big wide world. And so it's a place for them to learn some basic business skills and to gain financial literacy, learn how to save, and for them to create their own path to freedom. And so it's I think what we would call an incubator.
And as we both know from participating in a lot of workshops and meeting folks that have been exploited in trafficking, that the key to success is that financial stability with a job that you can rely on.
Right.
To move yourself forward into the world.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. That's something that we've learned. It's something that Destiny Women has realized that they've taken over 50 girls off the streets. But then what? They're still, many of them are still struggling. So this collaboration, this program that we're working with them on, and are hiring a liaison in Uganda, so that we're having regular communications. We're Skyping with them, and there's discussion and back and forth. And all right, well, this was our plan, but this isn't really working. And so there's flexibility involved.
A lot of give and take and change of plans.
Right.
Which is what you have to be able to do.
Right.
And have the patience.
Yeah.
And not be too attached to how you think as an American things should always look like somewhere else. So what's the biggest challenge, would you say, you have either at Amelia's Light or to move things forward?
So you talk about flexibility. That's one of our, not so much challenges to have flexibility, but communicating maybe to our donors that the plan may have been A, B, C, but instead it went A, D, F, G, and we had to make a change in that plan. And I think we're still in this place of piloting. So we want to still see these women and these young girls make it to a place where they can gain financial literacy and be independent. So that's not quite a challenge, but it's a
things to consider as
things
we go.
to consider as we go. And in terms of challenges, I would say our biggest challenge is volunteers right now.
Amen, sister. Yep.
Yeah. You can speak to that a little bit in that.
Well, everything we do at Amelia's Light is done by volunteers. There's no paid staff. So it's people with good fellowship in their heart that step forward whenever we're having a function or we're doing things behind the scenes, whether we're having a jewelry party or we're going to Medfield Day or we're having the garden party or we're having our other event like the night. Everything we do requires a volunteer to step forward. And I would agree with Michelle from my perspective that the challenge for us is to really gather some volunteers and of course
Yeah.
How can they do that, Michelle?
Well, I think the easiest way is to go to our website, ameliaslight.org, and click on the Contact Us and let us know. If they're local and they know us, they can pick up the phone, they can email us, and let us know. And the best thing is that we're really at a precipice right now. We're really expanded and ready for growth, and so we can put people in an hour a month, an hour a week, 4 hours a week. We have many different kinds of positions available, and little slots, and so.
So we would encourage you, if you have any sort of hobby or proclivity or skill that you have that you like to share with us, to go on ameliaslight.org and contact us, and you'll find our volunteer place there. At this point, I'd like to remind everybody that part of the reason we're here is to tell you about our annual garden party. This year the theme is An Enchanted Evening. It is a tented event here in Medfield on Saturday, June 4th from 7 to 10 p.m. The admission ticket will be $25. If you're an online person, you can register online, you can donate online, you can buy your raffle tickets online. Raffle tickets, I said? Yes. We have wonderful raffles, and most of the items and gift certificates have been donated by our own local businesses. So we like to patronize our businesses, and we put their names in a program, and at the function itself, you will know which prize came from where. We also have a silent auction this year with some lovely prizes. There's a trip in Mattapoisett on Charlie Peck's boat, Sidekick, and lunch. I don't want to tell you everything, but there will be some other jewelry from Michael Apsey in town and a couple of other wonderful things. There is a grand prize drawing, and this is for those who write out a check or go online for a straight donation to Amelia's Light, as this is our fundraiser. For every $25 that you donate, your name will be put in for the prize of a $700 gift certificate to a place in Orlando. For every 100, you get an extra ticket, so that would be 5 chances. These are like chances. And we keep this behind the scenes, and on June 10th, we have the grand drawing. Again, more details about all of this you can find on ameliaslight.org and click through. And we also have, of course, food, wine, beer, and beverages, of course. And
my famous calzones.
Oh, and Michelle's having a calzone party, so there'll be calzone as well. So Michelle, what else would you like to tell them about the party?
I'm really excited about the party this year. We've added a few new elements. We have a few surprises and some really neat things that'll be available to view in Amelia's garden. And what I'm most excited about is we're going to have live music this year. And you know I love to dance, so we're going to be dancing under the stars to the tunes of local band South Street 6. Most importantly, though, Jackie, I think really the message I really want to get across and what I really want to emphasize is that the funds that we raise from this event, every dollar we raise, every penny, every dollar, every cent, and every thought helps us to move forward and to say yes to one more girl, to support one more girl, or just support one more program, and create a path to freedom for these young women who've been, held in bondage. And
what heartfelt last words would you like to say to everybody, Michelle?
We hope you'll all come out and dance with us under the stars and help us illuminate our world.